Hello, my name is Angcos from BSCPE 3B, and this is I'll be presenting the schematic functions of our sequential circuit or Endterm project, which is requires a sequential circuit. One of the part of the function of our basketball schematic, which is the scoring function. So first, we're gonna have this one, which is this is a toggle off, toggle on. This is basically the IR sensor output. So if the IR sensor is off, it's gonna input an off. If the IR sensor is on or high, detects one, it's gonna high. So pretty simple circuit. I have an 3-digit adder here, and I have this adder, first adder here, uh, in default to a 2. As you can see, it's 1101. Oh, 1110 0010. So it's 2. Basically, it's adding 2 here with 0. Now, as you can see, I have no input for the second one. Why? Why is that? Diba? So I have an basically basic other function, error detection for BCD, just to have correct output in the display, the 7 segment, it's the 7447. So as you can see, this is the data line for the one input. And what is this input? This input is basically the output of a shift register. So what is the shift register? This is basically 74194, which is a universal shift register, which can have a SIPO, serial in, parallel out, can have a PISO, parallel in, serial out, but can also have PIPO, which is parallel in, parallel out. Now, as you can see, this line here is being connected to the scoring or the IR sensor. So what is this sensor being inputted? It's being inputted to a clock circuit. So basically, as you can see, we're adding 1 and 0 because the one our output here is defaulted to 0, but we have the A is adding 2 to 0. So we already have the output, which is 2, still gonna be 2, and we input this 2, the output of the adder, into the shift register. Now, as you can see, this here is basically the connection of the second input of the first adder up there, which is the B. This is basically B0, B1, B2, and B3, which is being added into our default 2, which is 0 plus 2 is equals to 2, which is correct. Now we're inputting a 2 here. So how do we start? How does this circuit work? This relies on the clock. So if this clock first is ticks 0, it'll not shift the 2 into the output. So basically the function here, if I click this, it simulates the detection of the IR sensor if there's a ball being passed through the ring. So if we want that, as you can see, the 2 is being passed through to the output of the shift register, and this 2 is being taken by the 7447 decoder and being outputted into our 7 segment display. But as you can see, Q0, Q2, Q1 is basically B0, B1, B2, and B3. Basically, the 2 output below is being shifted to be also an input of the B3, B1, B2. So we already have an input here of 2 and our default of 2. So if we add 2 plus 2, it's gonna be 4. So as you can see, there's 4 here, and there's already an 4 in the next clock input, which is 4. So it's basically just shifting the inputs based on our IR sensor. If our IR sensor detects a ball, it'll output the additional 1, while while it basically just adds everything. So it basically just adding the input and the output continuously. As you can see here in the second adder in the first row, the output here is just gonna be 0. Why? Because if we output a 1 here, which is 10, we were already outputting 1 here because we're adding 8 plus 2, which is 11. So error detection goes through. We're having an output of 1, We have a 0 here for the next line, but we have 8 before, so it'll output an 8. So if the IR center detects another one, it'll output a 10. As you can see, 2, 3, 4, 5, and basically this part here is basically just adding the C out of the adder before it,